Friday, March 11th, and whew, it has been a day. Um, and but we did, whilst we tried to eat lunch, skip through today's episode of The View, which was a hoot. Sonny Hostin was on fire. So first of all, Anna Navarro comes out in this rainbow dress, which I'm confident was the exact same dress that Caroline Ray wore on the Live with Kelly and Regis Lee thing earlier this week. And so that I thought was funny. And this Stephanie Grisham monster person who has a completely reconstructed face, constructed, not constructured. I don't think that's a word. Anyway, so scary Stephanie with her wrinkleless, Botoxed face, and dressed like a pickle. Like, what the hell was? I don't get these Republican women, in Republican political women. By the way, I'm going to say again, I think The View is making a huge mistake by filling the conservative seat with someone who is a political pundit or comes from the political realm. That we don't need that. We don't need somebody who's going to tout the company line and do the whole thing. Find someone who has conservative values but isn't involved in politics. The rest of them weren't political. We don't need a political strategist or apologist in there. Anyway, so she's had quite a week. She had talked about earlier in the week her 14-year-old gay son who was afraid to tell his friends what she did for a living. She's the former press secretary for the Orange Toddler and his mail order bride. And she said he was afraid to tell his friends what she did for a living. And she said, rightfully so. I'm like, well, aren't you ashamed to tell? Like, are you ashamed of the job you have? What? That is like, I mean, I get it. And she explained then earlier this week, and then she explained again today, she was a single mom, needed a job, was afraid that, it would be too difficult to get another job because of the stink of this administration. But it seems to me like you would have gotten out earlier. And Sonny was like, I don't understand. And so Stephanie, gives her a little explanation. And then Anna just digs right in. Why did it take you 4 years? Shouldn't you have known after that? Blah, 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 that that they and boy did Stephanie dig her heels in typical Meghan McCain kind of fashion. I can go at this all day and you do, but I'm a Republican. And she said earlier in the week, her grandfather was Republican and she's Republican and she can't bring herself to vote for a Democrat, which is like the worst kind of thinking that there is. I can't bring myself to vote for a Democrat. Well, then you support Trump. I mean, that's the GOP right now is the party of Trump. And if you are voting for Republicans, you're voting for, traitorous behavior. So this whole idea, I can't vote for a Democrat, is pretty fucking not very Big Tent of you. Anyway, so then, Stephanie's all huffy. And then Sonny lit. Anna, I'm going to turn to you as a Latina. How can you be a Republican? And so Anna, unlike the, Stephanie monster, gives a very thoughtful, sort of nuanced response about, the responsibility of political parties and being a member of a minority who doesn't want to be catered to get a vote when nothing actually happens, and wanting to find, wanting to have a two-party system that is, they're both trying to not just pay lip service, but actually help, her community and the things that she cares about, which I mean, great. And the whole idea of, supporting from within, or changing from within, I totally understand. For once, Joy Behar is the voice of reason, which is bizarre. Um, and so they have this whole skirmish, uh, and Joy says, there is a validity to, changing the party from within. I have to say, I don't understand. I agree with both Sunny and Joy. I don't understand why anyone would want to call themselves a Republican at this point in time, and why you would want to identify as a Republican, because it is, and if you're going to vote for one, you are voting for the Trump agenda, which, by the way, is no agenda, other than to block the liberals. Unless you have power, then it's to give all the money to the rich people and the corporations and screw everybody else. That's it. That's the entire Republican agenda. And grab cash whenever you can. So I have a hard time with blaming it all on Trump, when the entire Republican Party is going along with it. He's the figurehead for all of the bullshit that they've been trying to pull for the last 40 years, and he just says it all, pretty much out loud. So the veil is off that whole, we want the best for people, because they don't. They don't believe in small government when they want to legislate everything that isn't just like them. Anything that they're afraid of, or challenges their little insular view, is an anathema. The things that are happening in Republican-controlled states right now, with trans kids and LGBTQ legislation, is just so regressive, and the abortion legislation. It's hard to believe that it's 2022 and the Republicans are still legislating these things that should just be fundamental rights for people. So, Sonny's got a point. Aren't you ashamed to be a Republican? And I think Anna's answer is yes, and Stephanie Grisholm's answer is, I'm building a career off of it. So no, she stayed in the White House long enough to sell a fucking book. I mean, that seems to be the entire MO of people who do things that they know that are wrong. So that's my little tirade. It was just a fun little Sunny hostility moment. Sunny hostility. I was going to try to make a pun, but I couldn't make it work. Anyway, so that's Friday. I know there's a lot of other stuff going on, but it was fun to see the table arguing again. And in a spirited manner. Now, everybody go to happy hour.